welcome today to our webinar on the gift of holiday learning. My name is Emily Roden, and I am on the founding team and the CEO here at Ready Rosie, and we're excited that you took a few minutes this afternoon to enjoy a quick walkthrough and interview and presentation on the power of supporting families with holiday learning. So I'm sitting right here next to Teddy Fullenwider, who will facilitate our discussion today. Teddy is a former curriculum writer and developer in a large urban district in North Texas. She served in roles as a reading and literacy consultant throughout the state of Texas, and currently we are proud to have Teddy as our Director of Professional Learning here at Ready Rosie. She is joined by and will be interviewing a kindergarten teacher in Mesquite ISD, which is a large urban district. Hey, Amy, here in North Texas, and Amy Martindale is currently a kindergarten teacher, but is also a former kindergarten first grade teacher in Colorado Springs as well, so has that multi-state experience. So if you're joining our webinar today, it is because you are probably implement Ready Rosie currently, and you're curious to know how Ready Rosie can support families during these critical weeks that we have where children are out of school and they're experiencing a lot of family time, and really some of these experiences can form our students, but also form their memories and their bonding experiences with their immediate and extended family. And so we thank you for your interest, and I'm going to turn it over to Teddy.
Okay, thank you. And first of all, I stop the video and go to our slide. I just want to personally thank everybody for joining this afternoon. I know that this is a really, really busy time for everybody, and so I know you have a choice as to what to do with your afternoon time, and so I personally really appreciate you all choosing to spend some time with us this afternoon. And even though we're here this afternoon to talk about the holiday home learning tool, Amy has used our parent-teacher conference tools. And so before she starts, I want her just to tell just a little bit about the school that she works in, and then she'll go on and explain a couple of the parent-teacher conference tools that she used. So Amy, go ahead.
I'm Amy Martindale, and like Emily was saying, I teach kindergarten in Mesquite, Texas, which is a suburb of Dallas. We're a bilingual campus, and in kindergarten we have 2 monolingual classrooms and 4 bilingual class units. Our campus has a little over 900 students, and about 93% of our kids are on free and reduced lunch. That's just a little bit about me and Henry.
Okay.
This is my 9th year teaching.
Very good. So explain the parent-teacher conference tool that you used and kind of what you gleaned from that.
Okay. The You Know Your Child Best questionnaire was by far my favorite piece, but I also used the social media reminders leading up to conferences. I shared a few of them on Blooms, which is a communication tool I use with my parents, and then also on my classroom Facebook page, just to remind them that conferences were coming up and things like that, in addition to sending home a paper copy conference form that I use. Okay. But the You Know Your Child Best questionnaire was awesome because I loved being able to read all of my parents' responses. And it gave me just a little more insight into their family and specifically their child. So some of the examples are up there on the screen. And these are actual copies of what some of my parents filled out about their children. My favorite part of this questionnaire was down at the bottom, where the parents could circle areas that they wanted to discuss at the conference. So maybe it was an area of concern or something they just wanted to talk a little more about. And so I tried to start off each of my conferences this year by asking the parent first how they thought the year had been going, rather than me just kind of starting with all the academics. And then after that, I followed up with using this questionnaire and said, I noticed you circled your child's social skills. Could you tell me a little more about that? Was there something you were concerned about, or did you just want to know how they're doing in class and that kind of thing? At the very bottom, they were also able to circle whether or not they were receiving the Ready Rosie videos. And this was a really good opportunity for me to tell them a little more, one, about what Ready Rosie is, if they weren't already aware, and then how they could use it at home. And then for a few of them who said they were not receiving messages, I was able to figure out why. Maybe it was a bad email. And then I got a good email or phone number from them right then and resent the invitation right then from my computer.
Okay, great. And these tools, if you're not familiar with them or you haven't seen them, can be found on our website. And if you go to resources up here on in the black menu bar and then click on tools and resources, they'll come up. And so here's the questionnaire that Amy talked about. We have contact cards, conference invitations, and then here's the social media post that she said she used with her parents. So, all right, so now let's get started on why we're here this afternoon. We'll be answering any of your questions that you have at the end, so feel free as we go through the webinar this afternoon to post any questions to the Q&A section, and we'll be sure to answer those. And we're also going to have a poll at the end, so please take a second to answer those questions so we can get more information from you all about this resource and then also other topics for webinars that you would be interested in having. So, so this afternoon, as I said, we're going to share our gift of holiday learning. And at Ready Rosie, we're really excited about the possibilities that this has for your families. And you might be wondering why we even developed a holiday learning tool, why we just didn't decide that the kids could have 2 weeks off to relax. I don't know about you, but I don't particularly want to work over my break. But we went to the research, and we actually came up with 3 specific reasons why we wanted to develop this tool. And so we'll share those 3 reasons with you. The first one is routines. And we know from the research that children thrive from routines in their lives. Routines are one of those protective factors, sorry. Routines help kids feel safe. They have that sense of security. It puts order in their life. And we know that the holiday time, while it's fun for a lot of us, it can also be stressful. It can be really stressful for kids. Their routines are disrupted. They're sleeping late. They're staying up later. Those meals, 2 of those meals, breakfast and lunch, that they can count on regularly at school, for some of our kids, they don't have those meals. And so our families are already used to watching the Ready Rosie videos and doing the activities because you guys have been sending them home. And so we thought, well, if we did this holiday learning tool, they can continue to watch our modeled moments and do the activities. And if anything else, that can be one routine that remains constant over their break. So that was the first reason why we developed it. The second reason that we developed this tool is because we know from research, and then you guys know just from actual experience, that when kids are out of school for an extended period of time, a lot of times their skills begin to slip. And so we don't want them doing, drudgery skills, but at the same time, we want them doing things that will support those skills that they've been learning in school. And one of the things we know is that when kids have an opportunity to practice skills or do skills in an authentic way in real life situations, those skills become more cemented. And so we thought, well, what better time for them to do some of those skills in real life situations than at home with their families over the break. So that was reason number 2. Reason number 3, which is probably my favorite reason for why we developed this, is because we know from a lot of research that what kids want more than anything from their parents is more quality time, just time to spend with their families. And so when things are getting crazy, their lives, their routines are disruptive, things are chaotic, if we can provide that gift of quality time where they can play a game together, then that is really memorable for kids. And it helps develop some of those social and emotional skills that we want our kids to have. So those were the reasons why we developed this tool. So now let's look at the actual tool. Oh, whoops, first let me tell you where you can find that tool. Again, if you go to resources and go to tools and resources, just where you found those parent-teacher conference tools, they're right here. You can see here the parent-teacher conference tools. Here are family event tools if you haven't looked at those. We have routine charts, but here's the holiday learning resource. And with all of our resources, it comes in English and Spanish, and so you can just click on the language that you need for your families. This is kind of a webinar of threes. We had 3 reasons why we developed the tool, and now we have 3 easy steps for you. Excuse me, because we know that you guys are busy and you don't have a lot of time, especially at this time of year. So the very first step that we want you to do, and Amy said this was her first step when she started using the parent-teacher conference tools, was check your pending invitations. And that's really easy to do. You can go again on your dashboard to the black menu bar over here, click on Classrooms, then come down here to this tab where it says Manage Your Classroom. And once you click on that, you'll get a screen and it'll show you how many pending invitations you have. And then all you have to do is click right here on Resend Pending Invitations, and they get sent out automatically. One of the things that Amy mentioned was that she looked at that list before she sent those invitations out, so that she could also kind of give those families a heads up, hey, I'm sending you another invitation to register. And then if for some reason they still don't accept that invitation, then she had a conversation with them at the conference to find out whether or not she had a good email or phone number. So that's the first step. And if you have all of your families, they've already accepted the invitations, kudos to you, and you can skip step 1. So step 2 is just simply print the holiday learning page. We've made it where you can personalize it, so you can put Dear Amy's family, Dear Teddy's family, Dear Emily's family, Dear whoever's family. Then you can just type your name here too, so you can print them out individually. If you want to sign it in a fun color or whatever, then print it out and then sign it. So that's step 2, print it out, sign it, and then the third step, just send it home. Send it home with your kiddos before the break. Of course, we want you to encourage them to bring it back. Amy will talk about that when she comes back on in just a little bit. So those basically are the 3 easy steps for you to use the holiday learning tool. And so keeping with our theme of 3, we have 3 choices for families. So when they get this tool, their choice 1 is they can scan the QR code. Some of you all are using QR codes in your classroom, so they scan that code, and it takes them to the tool on the website. And then when they click on one of these gifts, so we have 9 gifts for them to open or to play the activities over the holiday. If they click on play a fun math game with counting, playing cards, or dice, that actual playlist will pop up then, and they're able to choose the video that goes along with their age child, or play all of them, or play, whichever ones they want to, actually, because all the videos for playing a fun math game will be on that playlist. And again, just like our other playlists, they'll have the option to watch it in Spanish if they want to. So that's their choice 1. They can scan the QR code and it takes them to the tool immediately. Their choice 2, if they don't want to scan the QR code, they can simply go to readyrosie.com/holidays. And that's on the tool, that you send home. Once they go there, once they type that in, then it's just as if they had scanned the QR code. It takes them right to the tool online. And again, whichever gift they click on is the playlist that will pop up. So if they clicked on draw or write something that has a real purpose, like a thank you note or a place card, that playlist would come up with all the videos that have to do with that particular activity or gift. Then their third option is they can simply just read the description, because we know from many of you all that some of your families don't have access to the internet, or they're afraid of using their data. I know some of your families come up to the school to use the computer, and so they may not have that option over the holidays. And so we wrote the descriptions so that they were easy to understand and play the game without having to watch the video. Of course, we would love for them to watch the video, but if they don't have that opportunity, they can read, sing, or dance together as a family, and they can do that without watching somebody do it. They can play a guessing game while eating or waiting in line. So all of the activities are easy to do, whether or not watch the video. So they have three choices. So your families have three choices. They can scan the QR code. They can just type in readyrosie.com/holidays, or they can simply read the description and play the game. Now, because I know from working with some of you all that some of you all are rock star teachers. You like to go above and beyond. You have an opportunity to be a rock star teacher. And by that, you can customize your playlist. So you can go on your dashboard up here and click on playlists and click on add playlist. And then just like your customized playlist that many of you all are already sending home will pop up, you can put your title in there. You can write a little description. And then we've made it easy for you. You can just put holiday in the search bar. And then you can put your grade specific or your age specific in there and do a search. And just the videos that are on the holiday playlist that go with your age group will pop up. And so you don't have to worry about the Ready Baby ones or maybe third grade ones if you're just looking for first grade. And then just like you can do when you're doing a regular playlist, you can click on the plus sign right there, and it just automatically pops over. A couple of teachers that I've talked to have said that they really want to send out a playlist for the first week and a playlist for the second week. And so just like you can do with your other customizing playlist, you can go down here to the save and schedule and do it this afternoon and schedule them to go out over the break. So that's for you rock star teachers that love to go above and beyond. Now, your second choice for you rock star teachers, and we understand that some of this might be tied to your paper supply, but you also have the choice of not only printing out the tool right here that shows the 9 gifts, so the 9 activities that we want them to do, you also can print out the playlist. So you could click on these and print out each of the playlists that go along with each gift, staple it to the top of this one, and send home kind of a Celebrate Learning holiday learning packet if you want to. And so then the parents would have a physical copy of the playlists that go with each of those gifts if you wanted to do that. So that's your second choice if you're for those rock star teachers. So now Amy is going to come back and tell us how she's planning on using this tool.
So first, like Teddy mentioned before, I'll go ahead and resend any invitations that are still pending. That's my actual data right there on the screen. And I have 3 invitations that show still pending. Most of the families that I spoke with at our conferences said that they were receiving the messages, and if they weren't, I tried to resend to a better phone number or email. However, I've noticed when I look at my data that there are still some families who aren't watching the videos. And so I want to make note of those specific families and speak to them individually at dismissal or give them a call to see, are they actually receiving them and they're just not watching, or are they not even getting them? Then I plan to introduce the actual learning tool in class and show the actual page to my students. Especially at this time of year, I feel like so many papers go home, and I want the kids to actually see what it is that I'm talking about, so that then they can go home and pull it out and show it to their families and be really excited about using it over the break. My students do already know how to use QR codes for the most part, but I was thinking that I should probably go ahead and demonstrate that again, just in case that's the way that they want to access the playlists. And then if they are excited that they know how to do it, then they can go home and they can be the teachers to their parents and show them how to do it. And then using the little gifts, how they're in a set of 9, I want to encourage them to maybe play bingo on the tool by crossing out 3 in a row, or doing 4 corners, or even a blackout. We actually recently just had a Ready Rosie family event at Henry, and at that event we played one of the games that's on the playlist called Biggest Number. And so since they're already a little familiar with that, I plan on having that game in a workstation in these next 2 weeks before we get out for the holidays, so that the kids can practice playing it, and then they'll be able to show their families, or if they came to the family night, remind them how to play. And then I definitely want to encourage them to like the videos and leave a comment, because that's an area that my families don't always do. Even though I can see that they're watching them, they don't always give feedback. So I want to encourage them to do that. And I'll even show my kids before they leave for the break how to do it, so that if they don't already know, they can help their parents with that as well. And then obviously I will encourage them to return the page after the holidays are over for some type of incentive. Depending on how they do their bingo, I may even have different levels of incentives. They might get to choose out of the treasure box, or maybe if they do a blackout, then they can come have lunch with me in the classroom one day that week we come back. At the bottom of the tool, it again asks the question if whether or not they're receiving the videos. And so I'll take a look at that again and see who says they're not, if any, and follow up with them on that.
So, Amy, I hate to put you on the spot, but what would you say you're most excited about in using this tool or sending it home?
I'm really just most excited that my students will have a fun and easy way to reinforce their learning that they're doing at school at home with their family. One of the things that several of my parents wrote on that questionnaire at conferences was that their child loved doing things together at home. One even said things she likes to do is cooking with her family. And so I'm excited that this is kind of a tool to encourage them to do some of that while they're at home together.
Okay, great. Well, I appreciate you sharing how you plan to use it, and I'm excited to see how your families respond and the engagement that they have with it. So, so now, I'm sorry, what?
I said me too.
Okay. And so now, if you all have submitted some questions, Anna, do we have any questions? No? All right, no questions. Nobody has any questions about it. It really is. I mean, we at Ready Rosie, we really do try to make things easy so that you don't have questions. They're pretty self-explanatory. So if you do have a question, you'll see our emails at the end in just a minute. And so please feel free to email us if you do have questions about this resource or any other resources. And so, so the next thing before we launch our poll, everyone who attended was entered into our raffle or giveaway for a class set of conversation cards. And before we draw, Amy, again, I hate to put you on the spot, but have you used these?
Yes, we actually had another parent night 2 years ago at Henry, and in the little kit that our families received was a set of conversation cards for each family. And one of my students who came that night, the very next morning, she brought the cards with her and was asking the other students at her table for some of the different conversations, and they were having little mini conversations on their own, which I thought was awesome. I've also used them just in my classroom before during our morning meeting, just as kind of discussion topics to get us talking, get to know each other better, everything like that. They're great for starting a conversation. It's super easy to, because it's all done for you.
Good. Okay, so do we have our winners?
Yes, and as we conclude, I wanted to say thank you to Teddy for leading this, and thank you, Amy, for taking the time out of a very busy time of year to share your experience. It's really inspirational to hear of all the things that you're doing to connect with families and to empower them so that this holiday season is really meaningful for the children in your class. So I really appreciate everything you're doing, and we have 2 winners to announce. But before I do, I wanted to mention that Teddy mentioned that you can contact us with questions, but I also wanted to mention, if you are a teacher out there like Amy who is using Ready Rosie, we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear what works. We'd love to hear questions you have. We'd love to hear excuse me, your dreams and wishes that we can incorporate and include in our family engagement resource. So we want to hear from you, and we'd love for you to be on our next webinar like this, and to be able to share with colleagues all over the country who are passionate about empowering and partnering with families. So with that, I have 2 winners to announce. You'll receive your own class set of conversation cards. So this can be a physical holiday gift. If you're not one of our winners, these are available for purchase on our website as well. 2 winners are, and we'll contact you by email after this webinar, but Holly Hewitt and Leticia Alvarez are 2 winners. So thank you for joining us, and I'm going to turn it back over to Teddy to let us know about the poll.
All right, thanks. Okay, and so now we're going to launch our poll. Anna actually is going to launch the poll here. All right, and so if you'll just go ahead and answer those. And so as you're doing that exit poll and then signing off, I again just want to thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Amy, thank you for joining us. I do know that you have a choice and lots of things that you have to do after school, so I really do appreciate you all joining us this afternoon. And as you do that poll, again, here's info@readyrosie.com. If you have questions, feel free to connect with us on Facebook or Twitter. And if you want to send me an email directly, it's teddy@readyrosie.com. And as Emily said, not only questions, but we are constantly celebrating the successes you all have and learning from you all. So please feel free to email me and reach out. And again, I thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Have a great evening.